Welcome to another edition of Our City. And I want to first thank Alonzo Jones for filling in for me during the campaign. And I did an interview with him on last week's show, but it was very helpful for Alonzo Jones and Oscar Ocasio on occasion filling in for me in Our City. I look forward to spending the next few weeks with you until the campaign in November. Just a reminder, every Tuesday from now and until November, from 11 till 6, the Elizabeth Avenue Farmers Market will host its 5th season of selling homegrown, hand-picked, and Jersey fresh produce at Union Square on Elizabeth Avenue. For more information, contact Dave Strojak at 908-965-0660, and that will be the subject of the second part of this evening's show. On Saturday, June 28th at 12 noon, the Elizabeth Avenue Partnership will host a Sprint into Summer event. The event will feature a moon bounce, petting zoo, DJ, fun for the entire family. For more information, call Dave Strojak at 965-0660. If you need more information concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 820-4124. Another program that we kick up during the summer is our Summer Curfew program, and I'm pleased to be joined by Lieutenant Dan Sonir of the Elizabeth Police Department. Lieutenant, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mayor.
And Stan Neron, who is in the Office on Youth in the City of Elizabeth. Stan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
You know, summer is upon us, and sometimes young people, we're all there, kind of stay out a little longer than they should, or don't go home, or, you know, maybe tempted to run into trouble. But we have a special program here in the summer. It started off as the Love program, where we pick people up. And Stan, maybe you can tell us a little bit about this summer youth program before we get into the curfew program.
Well, the summer youth program that we have here throughout the City of Elizabeth, we have 4 programs. We have the Safe Haven program, which we just expanded this year as far as, getting more kids into the program, because we have a new facility that's been renovated down at the Arabella Miller Center on 1st Street, where this year we'll be taking 100 youth as opposed to the 50 that we've taken in past summers. And throughout their day, they do the readathon program. We focus on literacy, recreation, counseling, and enrichment for both them and their families. And that's the Safe Haven program, a fabulous program. And then we have the SOAR 1 and SOAR 2 program, where approximately we house 300 youth throughout the city, both in Bayway and in the 4th Ward section of the city. And then we also have the Building Future Leaders program, which is our high school leadership program, where we foster career development, mentoring. We do a television, we do, the mayor's TV show, which is Youth View, and we also have a magazine program that will be kicking off this summer again. And they also do field trips. And all the programs go on summer field trips all summer long, and they go to different amusement parks and museums, and they go to film festivals and a world.
Stan, how many youth do you think we serve through this program?
Which one, the high school?
Combined.
Combined, I would say about 500 youth for the summer. Which
is a pretty good number. I mean, and all these programs are free for these young people.
They're all free. They also have a lunch program, which is free. All the trips are free. You can't ask for anything better.
Well, that's 500 people we're keeping out of trouble.
Definitely.
And also giving them a focus for the future as well.
Definitely.
But Dan, sometimes people run into trouble, and maybe they don't want to participate in these programs, and we have a curfew ordinance in the city, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about what that curfew program is.
Sure. In short, the curfew ordinance pertains to juveniles, those under the age of 18, and the ordinance states that they are not allowed to be out in any public place or on any public street between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. without a parent or guardian. The ordinance was enacted in 1992. The City Council realized that these kids out that late at night were more apt to become victims of crime or more likely to engage in criminal activity. So they enacted the ordinance. The essence of the ordinance is not to punish these kids, but to treat them, to find them, to introduce them into the programs that the city has run, that Stan's running, and to identify at-risk youth, those who have problems at home with parents, runaways, that we can help. Guys that work with kids all year long. Counselors there are able to speak one-on-one with these kids. Sometimes kids won't speak with police officers. So by offering them immediate counseling as late as 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, these counselors can find out why these kids are on the street. And then we meet with their parents. The counselors contact their parents and bring them in. and we have an immediate counseling session, and then we can make referrals to the proper agencies if it requires it.
Now, Dan, one of the things you talked about is that you have to be off the streets from 10 at night till 6 in the morning. But how about if a kid's working or at a high school dance or some other structured function? Are there exceptions to the ordinance?
Yes, there are exceptions. Someone coming from employment, a juvenile who works at the mall, gets out at 9:30, 10 o'clock, is going to the bus stop, is in between his job and his home within a reasonable time of leaving work, is an exception. Religious-based activities, we'll have some religious groups here, youth groups. If they're leaving there, going to and from their home, they're an exception also. School activities, a late football game, again, there's an exemption from that.
And Dan, the penalties for violating this ordinance, like you said, we don't arrest the kids. That's not the purpose of this ordinance.
No, it's not. The statute itself is broken down into two parts, Part A and Part B. A penalizes the child for being out. B penalizes the parent who allows that child to be out. Now, the ordinance itself has a fine structure up to $1,000 and community service mandated. But not every juvenile that we pick up receives a summons. This is often for repeat offenders who have been referred to programs, referred to counseling, but will not follow the plan. We find in those cases the parents are hoping for a judge to step in and help them with the kid, help them keep them in the house, help them find or give them something else to do other than be out on the street. So again, it's not to punish the kids, it's not to punish the parents, but it's to help identify those kids who are at risk before they enter into criminal activity.
Now, Stan, a lot of the kids who sign up for the programs, the Building Future Leaders, the sewer programs, most of these kids are solid kids. They're not thinking about going in the wrong direction. They're not at risk. What happens when some kids who may be at risk start to join these programs, and how do you deal with the kid who's never thinking of doing anything wrong with the kid who may be at risk?
Well, one of the fabulous elements that we have with all our programs is we've partnered with Kane University, where we have a number of social work interns that work at all the different sites, and they do one-on-one counseling with our youth who may be at risk, who may be experiencing problems at home. And not only do they work with the youth themselves, they work with the families as well, where they do group sessions. And they'll do group sessions with, you may have a group of kids who are, maybe going in the wrong direction. Well, let's sit down and talk to them and have different workshops with them. We also have the mentoring element, where with our high school program, let me just say this, one of the unique things is we get to watch these kids from ages 6 through 18. So it becomes part of a family environment where we've known them for so long, we can actually mentor them one-on-one. And the mentoring element, I think, is what really carries us throughout all those years as far as working with them, because we've built such a strong relationship with the youth that we serve. And once they become part of the program, the retention is great, and they recruit more friends, and the word spreads throughout the community. And they flock to not only City Hall, but they go to the offices, to different sites as well.
So some of the at-risk kids will become solid kids, in other words, through
Definitely.
this program. Yeah, in other words, you not only take the easy kids, some of the more difficult ones will flourish in a program like this.
Definitely, and you have to also realize that a lot of kids want the help, and the help is there, and in some cases there are youth who don't want the help, but we don't never give up on them, because we have that social work philosophy where we continually work with them. You don't give up on any of these kids, you don't leave them behind, and you just keep pushing forward.
Now, Stan, the spelling bee competition is coming up. Can you tell us, our viewers, how to pick up an application and who's eligible?
They can pick up an application at all the Elizabeth Public Libraries, at all the Elizabeth Public Schools, as well as City Hall. You can pick it up at Office G3. Eligibility starts from ages 6 through 18, so we're taking them from kindergarten up to a senior in high school, and it's a great competition, as you know. And we go to Union County College in the fall. This gives them an opportunity during the summer to really strengthen their spelling and their articulation and understand the definition of the word, and they get a chance to compete in the fall at Union County College live on stage.